Okay. Great. So before we get started, Will, do we want to do a little check on the members present? I have Alita, Barry, Brian, Kaz, Marco, Lorraine, and myself. Did I miss anyone? So feel free to raise your hand.
I see Russell Squire is signing in right now. So
Okay, great. Yep.
Russell, I'm going to lower your hand for now. Raise it again if you have something you have to ask about.
All right. So we're 2 minutes past 6:30, so I think we can get started. So good evening, everyone. Am I coming through loud and clear? Can everyone hear me? Good.
Perfect.
Welcome, everybody, to the Street Life Committee of Community Board 8. My name is Abraham Salcido, and I chair this committee. Couple of rules of the road. As always, we'll go through the agenda. I will ask for the representative for each item to speak to that item and tell us about the application. I will then invite members of the public to comment or question the application, and then I will go to my fellow committee members for any questions or comments. As a reminder, any item that is voted on here will go as a recommendation to the full board meeting, which will be in September. The next full board meeting is September 16th. So all of those will go to that meeting unless there's any time-sensitive applications that need to be sent out before then, in which case those will go as committee resolutions. And with that, if there's no questions or comments, we'll start with the first item, 1A. Do I have the representative for APQ 1131?
If you could raise your hand through the participant menu. I have on my list, the names are Marina and Ryan. Are either of you here? I don't see anybody by those names.
Wait, I see a hand, Marco.
Oh, I see
Mario.
Mario.
Yeah.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Yes, I'm here to represent the Quotidian.
Great. So let's start with, will you be representing for all of the items, A through E? Okay.
That's correct. Yes.
So, okay, let's take them one at a time for voting purposes.
Okay.
And let's start with item A and take it from there.
Okay. I apologize. This is my first time representing a company, but well, could you just, for clarity, what is item A?
Sure. This is for the 1131 Madison Avenue.
Okay.
And this is showing as a new application for wine, beer, and cider. They're all actually new applications. So I guess the first question is, tell us a little bit more of why are these all new applications? I think I know the answer, but.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so we were recently purchased by ORFI Brands. And so part of that transition has been switching over all of our permits and licenses over to the new owner.
Okay, understood. And so there's no other change other than just to reflect the change in ownership.
Exactly.
Okay. And will this be true of each of the 5 items here?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, so with that, I will inquire if there's any members of the public that have any questions or comments on. I'm going to invite questions on items A, B, C, D, or E, since they are all identical.
If you could use the participants menu, I don't want to see people raising their hands like this and miss you. So we will use the raise hand feature through the participants menu. So you have Scott Greenspun and Jane. I don't want to mispronounce your last name, but Jane. You want to go to Scott first?
Yes.
Scott, you may need to push a button at the, there you go.
I've just unmuted. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. So my name is Scott Greenspun. I'm an attorney with the firm of Braverman Greenspun, and our firm represents the Board of Managers of the Terrain Condominium. And my comments are, I believe, with item number D, that's on Lexington Avenue and 65th Street location, Philippan Cottinian.
Uh-huh.
The applicant is the tenant in the sole retail unit in an otherwise residential condominium. The unit owner's deed for that premises is subject to a declaration, and the use of the declaration specifically excludes any sale of alcoholic beverages,
Mhm.
wine, beer, cider, or anything else. It's not only referenced in the declaration, it's referenced in the bylaws, it's referenced in the offering plan. Certainly the tenant of the unit owner is going to be subject to those restrictions. The unit owner purchased the retail unit knowing full well that there could not be any sale of alcoholic beverages in that premises. Certainly the purchase price would have reflected that. And on the other hand, all of the residential unit owners purchased in the building with the clear understanding that there would be no sale of alcoholic beverages in the retail unit. The owner and the applicant were well aware of that restriction for the yet additional reason that several years ago, they came to the Board of Managers requesting a change that would permit them to sell alcoholic beverages from the retail unit. That request is denied. And quite frankly, we were a little surprised and taken aback that this application would have been made to the community board when the tenant and the owner of the retail unit know full well that whether as a community it would be permissible, in this particular premises it would be illegal to do so. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much, Scott. Yes, and I do note that we had the letter on file as well, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Do I have any other public members first before I go to?
Jane, you lowered your hand. If you want to speak, I see you shaking your
Oh,
head. So you
so-
have,
I would just interject. I apologize. Jane Hudis is a member of the Terrain Board of Managers. I would have introduced her, but I wasn't sure
Okay.
if she was going to speak or not. But I think now that she knew that I was present and participating, she may not have any further comment.
Understood.
she's shaking her head that way.
Okay.
Okay,
so-
terrific.
So you have Judy Schneider from the 60s Neighborhood Association.
Hi, Judy.
Do I have to unmute myself or can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. So I'm a little confused. The restaurant, the restaurant itself is okay serving food there. It's the liquor license that this gentleman is objecting to because of the documents. Is that correct?
I'll let Scott respond, but if I'm understanding it correctly, even though this is the sole commercial space that allows food, is specified within the lease and other documentation, there is an explicit prohibition on the sale of any kind of alcohol.
That's correct. Food can be sold from the premises, but it must be food that is prepared off premises. So no cooking is permitted in the retail unit. It must be prepared in other places and then brought into the retail unit. And in addition to that restriction, there's a restriction on the sale of any alcohol of any sort.
I just wanted to speak in support of this application. It's a place that I frequent very often because of its location near all the subways. Whenever I'm meeting people, this is the place that seems to be the most convenient to eat. Food is good, the service is good, and I think it's a real asset to the community, and I would hate to see it go away.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you, Judy.
Okay. Seeing no more hands from public, I see Rebecca's hand is up from committee members, and then I'll take other committee member questions or comments as well.
Hi, just two quick things. Will, could you send the letter in the chat?
I cannot send it in the chat, but I will
Okay.
email it to you.
Perfect, thank you. And then my question for Scott, you said they came before you recently to ask to get permission. What year was that?
I do not know exactly what year it is, but it was several years ago. It's possible that Jane Hudis might know the particular year.
Okay, thank you.
But but to clarify, this would require a change of the governing documents. It's not a matter of the board deciding that yes, we would decide that we would like to have alcoholic beverages served. This prohibition is in the governing documents. It's in the declaration that is recorded when the condominium was formed, and all of the deeds are subject to that restriction, including, most importantly, the owner of the retail unit.
Yeah, no, of course, thanks. I just wanted to make sure I had a better understanding of the timeline of what
It was several years ago. It was not recently.
Okay, thank you.
And Abraham, if I may interrupt, there are a couple people from the public who want to speak on these who don't know how to raise their hand. So I just want to really quickly tell everybody how to raise their hand. You can open the participants menu at the bottom of your screen. Right now, it looks like the number 34 and two little people standing next to each other. If you open that up, you'll see a menu that pops up, and on the left-hand side of that menu, there'll be a button that says raise hand. You should be able to raise your hand from that. Otherwise, John and Alex have they both raised their hands now.
Okay, let's continue with John and Alex. So John first and Alex to close out any public.
Just a
John.
question as to how long has the existing or the pre-existing restaurant been there, and for how long has it been in possession of a license to serve alcohol?
Oh, I don't think it's ever been in possession. We are unaware of the business ever being in possession of a license to serve alcohol, and as far as we know, they've never served alcohol. So this isn't merely, as far as we know, this isn't a matter of just changing the name due to a corporate restructuring. There has never been alcohol served in this premises, and it would have been impermissible to do so. I think that the restaurant has been there for several years. I don't know exactly how many years, and I can get that information to you, but it has not been an establishment that has served alcohol.
But has it served food? And has the food been prepared?
Yes,
there?
No, the food is not prepared there. That is also strictly prohibited by the governing documents of the condominium. It's prepared off premises and then delivered to the premises for sale.
That sounds as though it's different from what the applicant had said at the outset. So I'm confused.
I can't speak to that. I just I only know that that alcohol has not been served, and we are unaware of any liquor license for that premises.
I apologize for that. Just to be clear, that location has been there since 2015. I just joined the company back in January, and I was not aware that did not have a liquor license before. So I apologize for not being correct in that aspect.
It's our understanding this is for a new liquor license in a place that had not sold liquor before.
That's correct. So the other four, I am certain that they had liquor licenses before. This one, we have not had a liquor license before.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. And just Mario, or just following up, are you aware of the prohibition that is being mentioned here?
I received a letter from the attorney. I got a copy of the letter,
Right.
and we were hoping that in light of the circumstances that they would reconsider. It's never beer and wine have never been our main avenue of revenue at any of our locations. We just like to offer it as just to complement the experience by offering Belgian. We are a Belgian company, select Belgian beer and wines. We don't have an outdoor patio. We're not a bar in any sense of the word. And so in light of the circumstances, we were just hoping that they would reconsider.
Okay, thank you, Mario. So Will, let's continue with the public hands. I think Alex was next.
Alex, you may need
Hi.
it. There you go.
So I live in the neighborhood near the 1133 Madison location, and I just wanted to speak up in favor of their application. They've been here for 20 years, and it's been a great company, and our particular neighborhood has recently lost 2 places where people can go and have a glass of wine due to redevelopment at the corner of 86 and Madison. So Pan Quotidian previously had organic wines on offer at the restaurant location on Madison between 84 and 85. And I think our neighborhood would like to see that again and would benefit from that opportunity.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, seeing no other public hands, but if you do, Will, let me know. Otherwise, I think Russell was the first hand I saw, then Marco, then Lorraine.
Russell.
Thanks. So it sounds to me like other than 1D, the rest of these Pan Quotidian applications are pretty uncontroversial. So I think we should maybe just sort of separate them. And it seems to me like there isn't really any opposition. I would move to approve the the ones in section 1 other than 1D. And with regard to 1D, I mean, my view is that I think we should respect the the commercial unit agreement that they have, and I'm very sympathetic to the circumstances of COVID, and I know that we're obviously there have been a lot of changes to the rules lately and things like that, and I'm generally in favor of trying to be flexible in order to keep people in business through COVID and help people out. But I think in this instance, it really wouldn't be fair to the people in that building who I think have a reasonable expectation that the contractual provisions that they put in place would be honored. And so I think I would say we should disapprove the 1D and approve the others.
Thanks, Russell. Keep going along, Marco.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
And nothing more.
The complaint is very valid from the attorney, but the issue, what I perceive is, we don't have to go inside of the business between the co-op or the buildings and the tenant. In this case, the restaurant or the cafe. Our role is basically to see if it comply or not with the zoning resolution. And the zoning resolution, that place is located in group 6, which is eating and drinking establishment. Having a eating and drinking establishment, that is the only part that is our rule. Also, the liquor license authority, they will see if it's in the group 6 or not. That is the commissioner said to us, as long as in group 6, we cannot object. Obviously, if there are misconduct of the applicant, absolutely we can go against them. But in this case, there is no such a complaint. The complaint is it's a legal issue between the tenant and the residents, or whatever bylaws they violate. That is a legal issue between these two. But our role is just only, since there is nothing that tell me that this restaurant behave wrong in the community or doesn't fit in the commercial district, from my point of view, we should approve these applications too, because that is our role, is to see if it comply or not with the regulations. And my position is, in this case, I strongly support this location. I think this is what they asking is not even asking liquor. They asking is cider, wine, and beer. And I think it's reasonable what they ask. And more likely, if you check the time of the operation, it most likely it's going to be very early. They're going to close. So whatever problems that they have between the tenant and the building is between them. It's not us. For us is what is the compliance of the zoning resolution, which is commercial space, and that's why I strongly support this application. Thank you.
Marco. Lorraine.
There you go.
Good evening. This is Mrs. Brown.
Hi.
First of all, I'd like to request that all the applicants state whether or not the location has outdoor area and the hours of the establishment. With regard to this particular application, I respect the prohibition for 1D, but based on the law and what our role is, we're to rule on the compliance of the law. So therefore, I would support the application, and hopefully the residents can work this out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Abraham, we have John, who spoke earlier in the public, and then Barry, Alita, Russell, and Cause.
Okay, let's go to John. If hopefully it's a new point or a new statement.
It's just a new question and brief. And I guess it's to Mario, is the menu at the Madison location, Madison Avenue location, different from the other locations?
So the menu is the same at all of the locations that we're reopening in Manhattan, as well as the hours. So just to clarify on the hours, we're open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m., mainly serving breakfast and lunch. And on the weekends from 9 a.m. Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. On the weekends from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So we do close early. We have truncated our menu, so we aren't serving the full menu that we used to have. So between the limited hours and the truncated menu, we've chosen to reopen up the stores that way, and then we'll ramp up that menu as we reopen the stores. Maybe we'll reevaluate that in a couple of months.
So is food prep being anticipated in any of these venues?
So all of our food is prepped at our main commissary in Long Island City, and then it's distributed to all of our stores each morning throughout the day. Oh yeah.
But things like hard-boiled eggs and scrambled eggs and things like that that are plainly local?
So we don't have a hot kitchen in any of our locations, which means there's no open flame. So as far as our hard-boiled eggs go, we do prepare those on site. Everything else is prepared off site. So we don't serve scrambled eggs or anything like that. Okay, we have an oven that we use to heat things up, but that's about it.
Just as a resident between two of the venues, I don't know that I could live without them. It's been, for me, one of the primary losses of, and that's to say the pandemic hasn't touched my life very directly at all. But even so, I live part of the year in Budapest, Hungary, which still has a strong and vibrant cafe culture. And trying to find something like that in Manhattan is a near impossibility. My wife and I, we're both in our 70s, and both of us employed full time, but we spend a substantial amount of time on a maybe 4 to 5 days a week basis, just sitting at one or another of the venues and imagining that New York had as civilized an attitude towards street life as Budapest does. So I wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Okay, let's go to Barry.
Barry, you may have to push a button. There you go.
Oh, good evening. My first reaction was to table the issue on Lexington Avenue and both the other together. However, listening to Marco, perhaps we should allow the tenant and the landlord, if you want to call the condo a landlord, to work out their details. It's more convenient for them to work it out when they have a liquor license or have the prospect of being able to use a liquor license to negotiate with the landlord. That was not my first thought, but since the suggestion was made that we approve all 5 applications, Le Pan Quotidian has been a well-regarded establishment throughout the district, and I'd love to see them continue in business with the licenses that they're entitled to have, and that they perhaps can negotiate with the landlord or the board of managers to amend their rules regarding liquor license. So I'm in support of the applications altogether, taken as one. Thank you.
Thanks, Barry. Alita?
I would have to respectfully disagree with Marco and Barry and Lorraine on this, because by providing our support for a liquor license, we're not being neutral in the discussion between the building and the proposed and the tenant. We're taking a position and putting a lot of pressure on the building, which I don't think is what we should be doing, since we're representing the community and that building is part of our community. I support Pan Quotidien. I even call it the Belgian place because there's one around the corner from where I live, and I think they make fantastic bread. So, and I hope you continue the recipes, but I can't support the liquor license. And I think it's wrong for us to intervene in what should be a contract dispute between the building and the tenant. Thank you.
Okay. Russell, since you've spoken already, I'm going to just jump over you real quick and go to cause.
Yeah, I agree with Marco and I agree with Russell. I think what we should do is look at the application based on what our role is. However, I would like to put if we do approve, that I would like to put in the stipulations that there is a legal binding agreement between the establishment and the tenant, which the SLA should look at. I think that's all we can do. We cannot approve or disapprove based on one side or the other. I think if we approve stipulation to the SLA that there is a legal binding agreement between the landlord and the establishment, and let them have it out.
Okay, thanks, guys. Russell and then Judy.
So yeah, I just want to respond to the points that Marco and then others had made. So I think in terms of the idea that, we can only weigh in on the, whether they conform to the zoning regulations or that kind of thing. I mean, I think we routinely sort of look beyond just the narrow requirements of what the zoning is or whether they fit with those. I mean, obviously when we're sort of dealing with stipulations regarding how late a place can stay open or music or things like that. I mean, I think that's stuff that's sort of getting beyond just strictly zoning requirements and that kind of thing. And, there are times when we even vote to disapprove an application that may comply with the zoning regulations. So I think we routinely sort of look beyond just what the zoning says or what have you to, and kind of take the whole picture into account in what we're doing. And then the second point I would make is, I certainly am sympathetic to the idea that we don't want to wade into some kind of a complicated legal issue and that's sort of beyond the scope of what we do on this committee. And I agree with that. And I think that's right. I don't think that this is an instance of that kind of thing. I think here the material facts are really not in dispute by either side. I mean, I think it's clear that there is this component to the offering plan, this provision about what is permitted and not permitted in the commercial unit. I don't think that there's any dispute over that. And what the applicant has said essentially is, notwithstanding the fact that this is prohibited by this document, we're asking for permission to do it anyway. So I think if we were to sort of say, well, look, I think you're bound by this, or you know, we think it's reasonable for the building to hold you to this agreement, you know, it's not resolution of some kind of legal issue on our part. It's basically just assessing the facts as they are presented to us in an undisputed fashion and making a decision on that, which I do think we're capable of doing.
Great. Thanks, Russell. Just quickly for the record, I will second your initial motion to take 4 of them together and vote separately on D. Okay, so now rounding out, Judy.
I forgot to ask Mario, are you still going to have all your wonderful baked goods that you had before? Because that made going to the store so wonderful.
Yes, so all of the staples will still continue to serve. All of the croissants, pain chocolats, muffins, all of our wonderful breads, those will also be available and are available.
Great.
Thanks, Judy.
Okay. Back to Marco.
I think in honor of the time, I think let's go do the 4 applications. Let's go about that, and then let's go keep open and discussion the last application, because what my fellow community member said, that we're going beyond the zoning resolution, that's not true at all. Because I'm the person that usually I fight strongly with the zoning resolution, and I carefully review all the applications that must be inside of these rules. So we never go. Where we go always is according what the commissioner of the liquor license authority told us, which basically said, as long as we see it, that's what he said in court. Group 6, it is approved, this application. So if we want to disapprove, we can disapprove, but the liquor license authorities will approve, unless it's a poor management. If it's a poor management, yes, absolutely, I will go against this place. But I don't hear complaints that there is garbage, noise, drunks, or any kind of issue that destroy the spirit of the zoning resolution or the character of our community. So therefore, I never see this place, by the way, but as long as it fits in that condition, I think it's reasonable to approve this application. But let's go first with the 4 that you said. Let's go about the first 4, and then we can keep discussing the last one. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to, unless there's any objection, I'm interpreting Marco's let's go with the 4 as a calling the question on 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1E, setting aside 1D for a separate discussion. If there's anyone's opposed to that, committee members indicate objection. Otherwise, I think we can go to the virtual roll on those items. Okay, so with the virtual roll, if anyone is voting no or abstaining or not voting for cause on approving 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1E, give us an indicator. If not, then we will say that those are approved unanimously. And now we can go back and continue the conversation on 1D as in David.
I just want to clarify, Cause and Mrs. Brown and Alita, are you guys raising your hand to vote against items 1A, B, C, and E?
No.
Great, okay. So calling that good, I think.
Yep.
Sorry, I just want to be clear.
No, that's great. Okay, so now we're going to speak to 1D more. So we have hands for 1D. So Cause, Mrs. Brown, Alita, and then Mr. Greenspan.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion that we approve the application with the stipulation that there is a binding agreement between the establishment and the tenant, and that the SLA strictly look at it. However, I have one question. Can this be put off for a month or two?
That
Anyone?
would be up to the applicant to determine whether they wanted to.
Come back next month or after they've had their discussion, and we can take it on from there? Or do they want to go tonight?
You know, we're asking people to be flexible, and so we're willing to be flexible. So sure, we can wait a month.
I mean, it's only a suggestion. I can't force you, you know, we can't force you, but it's a suggestion that if you come back, in the meantime, the two sides can have a chat. So can we lay it over till next month?
Okay, so if, Mario, if you're fine with that, and then that gives you to have further dialogue time with the co-op, so that way we don't take a position until there's more of a resolve point there. We can do that, but just want to make sure you're fine with that.
Yes, we're fine with that.
Mr. Greenspun, this is the applicant's decision, but I'm assuming you have no issue with that?
I don't have any issue with them making a request to us, but we would sincerely hope that the board would respect the wishes of the unit owners who bought in this building, with the clear, concise, and undisputed understanding that what the applicant wants to do cannot be done in the building. And I think, with all due respect to the applicant, they put the cart before the horse, and they shouldn't have made an application at all until they knew whether there was an opportunity for the board to make a decision whether they wanted to even attempt to change the documents. But if they want to go ahead and make some type of presentation directly to the board, then the board can consider it, and the board can make its determination, and we can come back in a month and advise the board, the community board, how the condo board decided to proceed.
Well, on a legal basis, we cannot refuse them based on all the facts and what we are basically looking at. We could not refuse it. All we're asking is that both sides sit down, then that would make our decision a lot easier.
Okay. I will caveat, I won't go as far as to say we can't refuse it. Obviously, individual members can vote however they wish. I think we're saying we can take a vote, but if the applicant has happy to roll it over and lay it over, then that provides some time for more dialogue on the back end, and we can have a more updated and informed vote. So with the applicant's request to do that, we will happily lay this over and revisit at the September streetlight.
I would ask just to indulge you in one respect, and that is that we have a member of the board here who speak to some issues relating to garbage and other things relating to Pan Cotidian's operation, to the extent that that would be considered by the board. And we can go ahead and address that in a month from now. I just didn't want the community board to think that we were being disingenuous and not raising that, and only raising it at the next meeting when we hadn't raised it now. But I think it would make sense for there to be, we'll have a discussion, we'll hear what they have to say, and then we can add anything else on with respect to how the discussions went and other issues relating to Pan Cotidian's operations at the next month's meeting. But I didn't want, I wanted to raise that now.
No, that's fair enough. We listen to everybody for all their complaints and everything. So, I mean, we're all ears all the time. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I guess that there was, we thought the beginning, middle, and end would have been the legal issue, but I appreciate the comments that were made by the board members regarding their role, and we can address, all of these issues in the event that there's no agreement at the next board meeting.
Okay, thanks. All right, well, we can, let's just go through the hands. Mrs. Brown?
I think Jane's waving her hand. She's
Yeah, no,
not-
we'll get to all the hands.
So you wanted to go to Mrs. Brown next?
Yeah, go to Mrs. Brown just to see what everyone has to say, and then.
I just have one question for Attorney Greenspun. Does he know the reason why the condo board has prohibited alcohol in the restaurant?
I think that the unit owners who purchased units, and for most people, their most significant investment was to live in a building that was not going to have any food cooked or alcohol served, that there was going to be very restrictive types of retail use. And I think that there are two different issues. There's what the community might want and appreciate, but then there's also the issue of what the people who reside in that building, and it's their homes and their investments, what type of retail operations they would like to have there. And aside from, no matter how limited in the beginning, you might think that there'd be, you'd have alcohol served. It goes down a slippery slope. It goes from, just from cider to wine to beer to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10. And I think that everybody knew, the LePan Cotidian knew, the unit owners knew what could be done in these premises. It's undisputed. The applicant doesn't say that there's some misunderstanding or that we're not interpreting the documents. And I believe that the unit owners are entitled to have their contracts. The declaration is essentially a contract amongst all the unit owners to have their wishes respected. And with all due respect, if the board goes ahead and ultimately says, well, you can have a liquor license, it goes ahead and puts the unit owners on the defensive to a certain extent, notwithstanding that the applicant understands that they have no right to serve alcohol from that premises.
All right. Thank you for the explanation. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Alita?
Thank you. I have to say, and this is just me speaking, I don't really understand why the applicant would come if there's a contract that prohibits it from serving alcohol and say, I'd like a license anyway. They signed an agreement, and I don't think it's our place to say it's not a valid agreement. To me, it's not really different from other issues such as trash pickups and that making a mess on the street and that influencing decisions on whether there should be licenses. I don't think it's right that they did it. And I don't think it's right that we just say a contract doesn't mean anything. I am a lawyer. As you know, I don't practice, but I just don't think it is right to say a contract is irrelevant and the applicant could come knowing it signed an agreement, knowing it bought the license or the name or the restaurant with that agreement in place, and then asking for an override. To me, it just doesn't feel acceptable. So I'll just leave it at that. And thank you for thank you.
Okay, great. And last comment, we'll go to Jane, and then we can move on as we're going to agree to revisit in September.
First of all, I want to thank everyone and certainly appreciate the last comments. I purchased an apartment along with my husband and family in this building from the very beginning. I'm also a board member. We carefully evaluated what type of commercial restrictions would be in this space downstairs with all of the ones outlined, meaning no cooking in the building, no alcohol, and several others. We went ahead and invested both in this apartment, as did everybody else in the building and the board, based on that understanding. When LePan approached us 4 or 5 years ago to ask to go against that, and could they serve liquor? The reality was we've had years of trash all over Lexington Avenue that our building superintendent cleans up himself. There's been massive turnover in that location. The managers don't know from one time to the next what's going on. And we, as a building, take on the responsibility of cleaning up Lexington Avenue, picking up trash, and taking care of that area. The notion, aside from the fact that it is not our wish to have an open bar in our building, there are grave concerns about refuse, about bottles, and I know this came up earlier, I tried to raise my hand, but refuse, bottles, and mess on top of a situation that for the last 5 years has been very, very difficult to manage, and we've been kind and supportive. So it is with that both legal basis, but also understanding that is not meant to be difficult. We do not feel it's in the best interests of the residents of our building who have purchased there. And so we need to support that.
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to say that we want to be respectful of the people that live in the building. We want to provide a service to the residents, the other residents that live in the community. I think that all of our locations are consistent in that we maintain the exterior of our facilities consistently throughout our locations in Manhattan. And then with regard to the beer and wine, somehow a slippery slope, be considered that at that point. We don't have a lot of people that are coming in and having a glass of wine with their breakfast, and we mainly serve breakfast at lunch or at lunchtime. In 25 years, we've never expanded our alcohol menu at any of our locations besides select Belgian beer and wine. So it's never been an issue at any of our locations in Manhattan, and this is the only one that we seem to be, running into an issue with. And again, we're just asking for some flexibility during these times. It's a small revenue avenue for us, and it's just one that we just wanted to add on to help us navigate through these difficult times.
Thanks, Mario. Okay, with that, we're closed discussion on 1D as we're moving it over to September. So now the next item we're going to discuss is 1F. So do we have a representative or the applicant for 85 Wine Corporation?
If you wouldn't mind raising your hand to the participant menu, I have Jacques and Cynthia as the possible speakers, but I don't see either name appearing. For anybody who doesn't know how to raise your hand, you go to the participant menu at the bottom of your screen or use the *9. Do you see somebody?
I see Hamimi is waving their hand.
Ah, okay. You may have to push a button to confirm unmuting. There you go.
You hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
You're for 85 Wine Corporation?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Okay. Hi, good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So tell us your name and just a little bit about the application, and we'll go from there.
My name is Hamimi Jacques Ouari. I am the guy that started Jacques Brasserie next to the 85 Wine Corp.
Okay.
Jacques Brasserie is still in the business for the last 24 years. I'm still involved with, the back of the operations. And it's the same people, that would be dealing with the corner store. It was an opportunity with the same landlord. Honestly, I've been doing this for so many years, for about 24 years. The last thing I want to do is open up another restaurant because I know what it means, serving alcohol, dealing with the community, keeping everybody happy, from your staff to staying within the code with labor law, everything to the SLA law, the community. And so I'm fortunate that sometimes, and most of the time, that the restaurant owners, they do most of the work and with the last or the least say to say. But for the last 24 years, we are very happy and proud to serve the community. And like I just said, the last thing I want to do is open up another restaurant. And the only reason why I'm doing this is because I'm helping out, is because it's just next door to the restaurant. It's the same landlord. I've dealt with so many landlords in my life. They're not easy to work with. Now we have the pandemic, and getting everything to work together, it's just like being in, I don't know, it's not easy, but I'm willing to take the challenge just because it's next to the restaurant. So the diner went under a fire, and we're looking to do something a little bit very simple, very focused on good establishment serving the neighborhood with the focus on, so this is like a day, it's going to be like more of a steps at a time. Hopefully, maybe dinner, depending when this is going to open up, because they're still doing the whole renovation under the building.
Yeah.
Because of the fire, and they're still doing the work, and maybe if anything, would be sometimes in mid-October, end of October, beginning of November, knowing what would be the the words coming out of the city and state.
Right.
If it's going to be a 50%. Then we'll have to decide on how we can operate. But hopefully in the long run, we will be open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, even later for dinner, with a big focus on more of an American diner, but Jacques style, with a touch of maybe on Italian, so that we don't stay in competition with the Jacques customers, and maybe hopefully down the road, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now, open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner even later. Something more of a J.G. Mellon, P.J. Clark's, Uva, with the focus on the community and obeying and respecting the SLA rules, and our neighborhood comes first, our community comes first, and that's what we do.
Great.
We will have a little bit of a counter outside serving the grab and go for good sandwiches, and for people that want to maybe take food at home, and yeah, that's with a bar, full liquor license, and that's the
Great.
yeah. That's,
Thank you very much.
yes, sir.
Okay, so first, I'll ask if there's any public hands on this item. And if seeing none, then we'll go to Barbara.
Barbara, you just have to, there you go.
I didn't position my mouse, I'm sorry. I just want to say that Jacques is a charming, lovely, well-run restaurant. I am so happy to hear this, because I was worried that after the fire of the restaurant, the diner that was there before, and there's an empty store next to it, that it was going to be a raised building and we would have another monstrosity there. And the idea that it would be what I assume, I'm sure will be a well-run addition to the community. I am thrilled to hear that's what's going to happen, and I wish you would put another restaurant next door where the toy store was, so that won't remain an ugly, empty spot the way it is now.
Thank you, Barbara, and your words means a lot to us, and without the community, we cannot survive. But I thank you so much for your kind words.
Great. Mrs. Brown?
There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Hamini. Unfortunately, I was unable.
You can call me Jacques.
Jacques.
Hamimi is my birth name.
Thank you. I was unable to hear all of your presentation because of the fire trucks in the back. Given that, could you please share with me the hours of your establishment?
Mrs. Brown, I really cannot hear you. I'm sorry. Could you please?
Is this better? Is this better?
That is better, yes.
Better, yeah.
Thank you. I apologize for that. As I was stating, I was unable to hear your presentation. Given that, would you please tell me the hours of your operation? And did you say it was just specifically a diner? There's no, is there any outside area?
Well, right, I'm sorry, I don't understand outside area, but what do you mean by the outside?
Outside eating?
Outside eating. There is an enclosed cafe, so we're good. We might apply for the license if we feel like there is a need for it. And, right now it's not part of the prior plan. Our plan right now is truly to get over, this whole thing. It's, a restaurant business is so much of a gamble ahead of time. You have all these people that you have to employ, and yet you have to abide and go with the rules. So we only can go a step at a time. If there is a need for it, and if we do put a sidewalk cafe on, I don't know. I'm not even thinking that far.
All right, thank you.
We have an enclosed cafe. We're happy with it right now, but I don't know what 6 months from now, a year from now, will. I don't really know. I have no idea, but I think for now we're good here. But from what I understand, in June of next year, they will allow you to have something on the street. If the city, if I can do it the right way, I might.
Okay, thank you. And what are the hours of operation, the proposed hours of operation, please?
So for now, it's going to be more like I said, it's going to be a step at a time. We're going to just do the dinner, and then hopefully, if the city does not allow us to open, because now we're going to the fall. By the time we'll open up, it's going to be like maybe November. So if we're not able to open inside, so it's just like maybe done by 10:30, maybe deliveries. Maybe we're not even going to open up because it's not worth it. Me paying the rent and my staff when this is a new location, no one will know about it. Why would I bring myself a headache of opening up a place when I know I'm not going nowhere? But if the city is opening up a little bit at 50% capacity, we're going to go step by step. Eventually, going forward, later on when things become normal, we'll be open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, even later.
So is it fair to say that you will be open until 11 p.m. in the evening? Is that what you're saying?
We might open up later. It's on the application.
Well, could you give me an estimate, please?
So, Lorraine, just so the application, again, well, there'll be a transition period, and given that what's going on with COVID, but the application itself proposes 11 to 4 a.m. daily.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
I have a problem with.
Listen, at the end of the day, we're serving the community. If something goes wrong, I'll be the first one to pull out the hours. And if I cannot manage properly, I do not need to give myself a headache if I cannot assure that I'm doing the right thing.
Great. Okay. Then next is Marco.
I would like to propose a motion and then to speak. The motion is to approve. Is anybody second?
I'll second.
Okay, so the issue right here is next. And that is correlated with the other application. I don't want to speak with the other applications gone. But the bottom line is we lost a lot of jobs in the country, in the city. And now we need to reactivate the economy. And as long as it's within the law, which is for me, the only law that exists right there is the zoning resolution. If it fits, I strongly support this kind of business. And unless if those business behave or management very poor. So then I will go against them. Otherwise, I think we have to support business at this time. And if he behaves wrong, we still have a chance to call him and to ask them, and maybe we have to renegotiate the time. But according with the present regulations, I think if I'm not wrong, all the places have to be closed by the 11th. And so I don't think that he's gonna be open until 4 o'clock, at least within 6 months. But whatever it is, I think we have to support those business. We need to bring back our economy. And I think this is the right to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco.
Okay, Barry.
Call the question on the application to approve.
Great. And if anyone's opposed to calling the question, raise your hand. Otherwise, we'll go to our virtual roll. Seeing none, then the current motion is to approve. So if anyone is voting no, abstaining, or not voting for cause, please jump up and down with your hand.
And I do want to point out that Alita had to leave, so don't count her on this one.
Thank you. Okay, last call. Okay, seeing none, then that's a unanimous approval. And okay, moving along.
I want to thank the committee. Thank you so much.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, do we have a representative for 1G, Bilao Inc.?
I believe that's Jinsu. Sorry if I mispronounced your name.
Yeah. This is Jinsu. Yes. Yeah.
Hi.
Below Inc. Yeah. And then my name is Jinsu John, and then I'm attorney for the Below Inc. And then actually this is a Filipino restaurant, and then actually the shareholders is actually nurse in the Mountain Sinai. She couldn't attend this meeting today because she's on duty, and she's Filipino, and she went to the businesses, these places, because her husband just has a drop shop just next to the building, Speak and Span, and then so her husband, the business is next to this building, so she will hire managers, and then the manager will manage these places. I don't think any restrictions, and then there is this restaurant will enhance diversity, and then the chances for the near neighbors to taste Filipinos cuisines. So I don't think there will be any problems for this for this restaurant to apply for the liquor license. They will sell just beer and wine.
Thank you very much. Okay, so before I go to the hands, I'm gonna do this going forward, and apologies. Just looking at the application, so the hours, 8 a.m. until 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday, Saturday, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sundays, and it is an 80-20 food to drink ratio. With
Right.
that,
Right.
I will go to Judy.
On the agenda I printed out, I don't see this establishment. What is the name and location of the establishment? Maybe we could say that before each of the presenters.
Sure.
Oh,
So
yes.
this is item
Yeah.
one. I'll do it. 1G Bilao Inc., 1437 First Avenue, and it is between 74th and 75th.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, any other public members? Seeing none, then I will go to my esteemed colleague, Marco.
I would like to propose a motion. The motion is to approve as presented. Thank you.
I would second that motion. Okay. See, anyone opposed or abstaining? I'm sorry. Anyone opposed to? No. Let me try again. Seconded. Does anyone want to call the question? Okay. All in favor? Any opposed to calling the question? None. Okay. Now we're going to go for our votes. So if you're voting no, abstaining, or not voting for cause on this motion to approve, let us know. Otherwise, that will go as a unanimous approval. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Jinsu.
Thank you.
Moving on to section 2. These are renewal applications for Sidewalk Cafe. The first one is for Zucchero and Pomodoro renewal, unenclosed, 6 tables, 12 chairs, 1435 Second Avenue between 74 and 75th. Do we have the representative?
Yes.
There you go.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Sorry, I'll just do that. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, hi.
Hi, my name is Sam and from Zucchero e Pomodori. We've been there since 1991. We've been there a long time.
Yep.
We just applied in March for the renewal, but then COVID happened and I was in hospital too. I was, I had COVID and I was hospitalized.
I'm sorry.
And after it came out, I had to close down the restaurant. So I couldn't go on with the renewal process and paperwork as well. Actually working from home most of the time. I'm having rarely going there.
Well, I hope you're feeling better and recovered. And
yeah,
this is just a straight renewal, no changes?
yeah, just a renewal, no changes, nothing.
Okay, great. Do I have any public hands? If not, then I will invite, oh, no, okay, no public hands. And then I will invite Marco as the first hand I see.
I would like to propose a motion. The motion is to approve. I hope, sir, that you are recuperated fine. And I think I'm very happy to see you right here and doing business in our community. Since
Thank you.
won't change anything, I wish the best. And I think this is the community that we need these services. You serve our community, and that is what we are looking for. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marco.
Great. I'll go to Rebecca.
I'll second.
Great.
And send it. I'm glad to see that you're doing better. And
Thank you.
If there are no objections, I would like to call to question.
None here. Ms. Brown, did you have a question or comment?
Yes, I did. I wanted to wish him well.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, so we have the question called. All in favor? Any opposed to calling the question? Seeing none. Okay. Now for the vote, motion to approve. If anyone's voting no, abstaining, or not voting for cause, indicates so. Otherwise, this will also go as unanimous approval with our well wishes and good luck going forward.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay. Moving along to item 2B, still in the Sidewalk Cafe renewals. This is for Persepolis, 1407 Second Avenue between 73rd and 74th. Do I have the applicant?
They had not been responsive to us so far, so I'm not, I don't think it's likely that they're here.
Okay. Well, I'll wait to the end, but again, given the time we're in, probably just likely to lay it over unless there's any strenuous objections. Okay, so next item is 3A. This is a change. Do we have the representative for the Candle Cafe 1307 3rd Avenue corporate change?
Robert? You may have to.
Yes, good evening. Nice to see everyone. So this is the Candle Cafe on 3rd Avenue between 74th and 75th. Basically, the corporate change, the original two partners, Joy and Bart, have decided they would love to enjoy retirement. So they are leaving the establishment. The two partners that have been in place with them over the years are going to stay. So there basically will be no changes to the establishment. It's going to be run the same menu, same hours. It's just those two are stepping away, and the other two are going to run the whole operation.
Thank you very much, Robert. Marco.
Thank you. I would like to propose a motion. And if somebody want a second, thank you.
I'm assuming the motion was to approve. So Barbara, would you like to second?
Barbara.
I did, I got it, but I do have a question. What happened to 79th Street? Are you opening there also, or we miss you?
Robert, I muted you because you had some sound on in the background. If you could mute that or turn that off, it's a distraction. But whenever you're ready to answer her question.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's gone. We don't know yet about 79th Street. I doubt it though.
Oh, okay. But I do second.
Okay.
Well, can I call the question at the same time?
I just want to quickly, George has your hand up.
Yeah,
Hi.
that's George. He's one of the partners.
Oh, okay.
Hi guys, my name is Jorge. Kendo 79, I was going to reopen in April, but because of COVID-19, I was not able to reopen it. Yeah, and I wanted to stay open, so that's why we want to renew the liquor license. But Kendo 79, it might come back next year.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
Great. Thank you, Jorge. And Barbara, yes, you can call the question. Do I have anyone objecting to calling the question on the approval? Okay, if not, then we're going to take the roll. This is a motion to approve 3A. If anyone's voting no, abstaining, or not voting for cause, let us know. I also note Alita is back, so I will include you in this roll. Oh, Alita, there you go.
Include me, whoops. Don't include me because I just came back just at the very end. And
Okay.
unless you want to give me a blanket approval because I support businesses, which there is no issue, but I really didn't hear enough. So do what you will. Thank you.
This was a corporate change for Candle Cafe, just a swapping of the partners. So nothing complex here. So I will include you unless, yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you. Thank you so much.
All right. Then we will move along to our.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, George.
Thank you. Now moving on to item 3A, another corporate change. This is Spice Corner, 1479 First Avenue between 77 and 78. Do I have the representative?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, hi Ernest.
Hi, I'm Ernest. I'm the attorney for the corporation, and I also have the corporation president, Mr. Kitty, with us.
Right.
It's the similar one to the corporation. Originally, we have two shareholders of this corporation, and now they are separating their investment. So the other shareholder, Mr. Lenny, is going to be out of this corporation. That's why we're applying for this corporate change.
Okay, thank you.
And nothing would change to the restaurant, to the establishment.
Okay, great. Marco.
Thank you so much. You know what? I would like that you call somebody else because you have been calling me always. Thank you, and I think it's better to call somebody else. But
Okay.
if you want to give me a chance at the end, if I have a chance, fine. Thank you.
Okay, Rebecca.
Motion to approve.
Okay, great. Mrs. Brown.
I support this business wholeheartedly, and I want to second the motion, please.
Okay. Wonderful. Marco, if you raise your hand, I'll let you call the question. Marco?
Call the question. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so all in favor? Anyone opposed to calling the question? Seeing none, then we'll go forward as a approval. Anyone voting no, abstaining, or not voting for cause, let us know. Otherwise, that's a unanimous approval.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so last item is, I'm gonna again just do a quick check if we had someone for Persepolis. If not, again, given the current environment, I'll roll it over into September. Okay, those are all the items. Let me check the chat real quick.
Nothing new.
Nope, okay. And if there's no other business, then do I have any motion to adjourn?
I did have somebody who had earlier said they wanted to raise an item of new business if they're still here. There we go. I think that this is the person.
Hello there.
There you go.
Hi, good evening. My name is Carl Landsteiner, and I'm an architect, and I live in the Upper East Side. For, I would say, about the past year or two, the publicly owned private space that's above Tony DiNapoli at the corner of 64th and 2nd has been closed due to construction. Earlier this year, they took down the scaffolding, and the privately owned public space was not opened back up. And subsequently, COVID hit and everything shut down. Now it has reopened, except there's a restaurant, Tony DiNapoli, which is exclusively using that plaza for restaurant use. And so it's no longer open to the public, which I understand is not really the intended use of these spaces. I understand and I'm sensitive to the fact that businesses are struggling and it's been hard on everybody, but I also am of the mindset that these are public spaces and they are fully intended for public use. So I don't think that it's appropriate to be commandeering these public spaces that not every restaurant has access to and to hand them over for commercial uses. And I've raised this issue with 311. I've tried to raise this issue with the community board, and it doesn't seem to be gaining any traction. So I'd just like to formally raise this issue and see if there's anything that can be done about this.
No, thank you for raising that. We'll definitely make a note, and I don't know if it's specific to this committee, but we can work together and see what course we can take, and we can get Carl's information and kind of see how to best move this along.
Carl, I'll send you my direct email address so that we can follow up in the chat, if that's okay with you. I still see you there. Is that okay?
Yeah, okay. That sounds great. One other thing I will mention is that the only access to the public space at this point is through the restaurant. They've sealed off. I've never seen the gate opened along 64th Street. So it's totally private at this point. But yeah, if you know, there's somebody else I should talk to.
No, that's helpful. Thank you for flagging that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can talk to the Department of Transportation, who's in charge of the program that's doing the open restaurants.
Okay, great.
Okay, I see a few hands. I'll go in reverse order. Rebecca?
Sorry.
I was just going to make a motion to adjourn and wish all the businesses luck during this time, but if other people want to speak, they should. I'll withdraw my motion.
No, you can hold it. Let's go to Barbara.
I am blank with the name, but that rest of the famous hamburger place that's on 86 between 3rd and Lex, this was a very big deal. And they do use the outdoor space in the Pops, in the privately owned public space, but the public is allowed to go there. Anybody can go and sit at the table and it has access. So it seems that there's a precedent for what this gentleman is saying, that it can be used. It possibly can be used by the restaurant, but certainly should remain open for the public also.
Shake Shack.
Shake Shack. Oh my gosh, thank you. I was going nuts.
Marco?
Oh, thank you. I'm going to say it. You're absolutely right. The colleague that he mentioned about the pubs. He's right. And I did a study of the pubs in our community. And I wrote something about that. And I think this topic, respectfully, it should be addressed in the Zoning and Development Committee. And I think I'm going to try to talk with the two co-chairs, because this is unacceptable what you described, because the developer took millions of dollars to develop large buildings in the best real estate market, which is in the top of the building. So basically the developer was well paid, and that is fine. That's nothing wrong, and I support that. But the only situation is they had to provide the space for the community. That is the bottom line. And why was created that is because our community board, we lack of public spaces. We have a larger deficit in public spaces. So this is where we have to deal this topic definitely in zoning and development. I strongly advise, sir, that you come to the, I think it is scheduled now, zoning for next month on September, and zoning and development. We will address your issue deeply because this is a very limited what we can do in this committee. And I think it's more as the issue of zoning. And thank you so much for coming and bring out the attention of this issue. Thank you.
September 24th is that date.
Right. Thank you very much. Alita?
Alita, you have to confirm.
Sorry. Thank you. If there were issues like this, to communicate with the community board, I don't know how you did it, Carl, but emails to info@cb8m.com will get attention. I don't know, I think you might have tweeted. That does not get nearly as much attention. And you raise an important issue, one that is resonating throughout the borough, and particularly as Marco pointed out in our community. So thank you. Thanks, Abraham.
Thank you.
And you have my direct email in the chat, I hope. Yeah, great. Good.
Okay, great. So I know there was a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, well, with that I will say thank you to everyone. Thank you to the applicants. Have a wonderful rest of August and stay safe and healthy. And we will see you next month, if not sooner. Thanks, everyone.